I went to a movie with 3 friends. Me and one of them arrived first, the other 2 a bit after. My friend and I go into the theater and walk past this guy in a full racing suit, all the gear, including a helmet. He was just standing there holding a flag. Apparently it was part of a promotion for an upcoming movie or something like that. Well, my friend and I thought it was just a statue or a mannequin. We then realized as we walked by that it was in fact an actual human in that suit and not a mannequin. So, when we saw the other 2 friends arrive, we said to my one friend that was pretty ballsy, "See that mannequin over there? I bet you won't grab his junk." So, without a word, he walked towards him and executed the move. To this day, I can't say which one of them was more surprised. I've never laughed at anything so hard in my life. I once saw a kid eating some ice cream outside and a bird flying above him pooped on his shirt. Apparently, he thought it was ice cream that dripped onto his shirt. He wiped it with his finger and stuck it in his mouth. His expression instantly changed as he realized that it most definitely wasn't ice cream, and I couldn't feel my sides for a few hours. During my time in the British Army, I served with the parachute regiment. Well, during this one jumping exercise, we dared this poor new recruit to unzip his fly before the jump, because we all convinced him that the rush of the air feels great. He believed us and unzipped it right before jumping out of the plane. He deployed his parachute, and unfortunately for him, his junk had fallen out of the open zipper, much to the amusement of the directing staff watching the poor boy float slowly down to earth, exposing himself to hundreds of people. Our regiment didn't stop laughing about it for days. We were at a roller rink for my youngest brother's birthday. I have 2 brothers, so I'll refer to the youngest as Jack and the oldest as Jim. Jack is out skating around and having a good time with all his little friends, while Jim and I are playing video games and trying to get tickets to buy some little trinkets. Well, we weren't the only birthday party in this roller rink that day, and as our party is getting ready to leave, Jim cashes in his tickets to get this giant inflatable mallet hammer thing, and then takes a seat to blow it up. Just as he finishes and puts the stopper in the air hole, this random tiny kid wheels up and asks Jim if he can see the hammer. My brother kind of shrugs and just hands it to him. The kid looks at it, slowly turns it as if surveying it closely, and then, with the speed of Usain Bolt after 4 lines of cocaine and the strength of Paul Bunyan, he draws it back and smashes my brother in the nuts as hard as he can. I was mid-sip a can of Vault, which I then proceeded to spray out of both my mouth and nostrils, followed by choking, laughing, and crying for the better part of 2 minutes. My brother was doubled over sucking air while this kid just stood there as if it wasn't a big deal at all. To this day, that is one memory that will cause me to instantly break out in uncontrollable laughter when I think of it. My wife's aunt was getting married, and they were doing their own vows. She had an entire page written, but she wanted them typed so she could read them better. For some reason, she asked me to do it. I obliged, and at the very end I put, "With liberty and justice for all, Amen." I honestly thought she would notice it while practicing. A few hours later, I asked her to read through them to make sure they were right. She did and said they were perfect before thanking me. I figured someone would read it and catch it, but no one did. Sure enough, she got up and read them, including the part I added in. I got yelled at pretty bad by everyone in the family, but the laughs were well worth it. My wife won a free cruise through some promotion at her work. We couldn't afford a trip of our own, so this was a major gift to us. It was a family-friendly cruise, so we packed up the kids and off we went. The thing about a cruise is that you're not only stuck with your family, but other families as well for the whole duration of the cruise. So naturally, you keep seeing the same people. I'm pretty easygoing, so it's fine for me, but kids are different. I can keep drinking until you become interesting, but kids are just stuck dealing with each other. My kid and this other kid were both around 12, and the other kid, it became known, was a bully right from the start. Sure, you can say just stay away from him, but you're still stuck on the same boat. and all the fun things to do on said boat are where all the kids tend to congregate. Anyways, the first day, my son fell in love with the Flow Rider, which is the artificial wave that allows you to boogie board or surf. If you've never seen one before, it's essentially a foam platform in the shape of a wave about 6 feet high. At the bottom are water jets spanning the entire width that shoot massive amounts of water up the foam shape to the top, where the water then drains through a graded platform. To ensure my kid's cruise wasn't ruined, I wanted to keep an eye on the bully to see if he was as big of a jerk as my kid was saying he was. Then I'd figure out who his parents were and go from there. So, I'm watching the Flow Rider from afar, and sure enough, the kid's a jerk. He pushed past every kid in line and stomped his heel into my kid's foot as he was cutting line. So, Dad Rage is hovering at full Hulk out mode. When the kid gets off this thing, parents or no parents, I'm going to give him the finger pointing, Dad yelled. He's on the Flow Rider and I'm just waiting. Then the gods of justice shone down on the deck of that cruise ship. He did a move where he slid down the board and whoosh, trunks came off. Not like down a little bit, but right the hell off. They go shooting up the wave where they then get churned around up at the top. The entire line of kids erupted into high-pitched, pointing laughter. The bully comically rolls up to the top desperately trying to find his trunks. He's fumbling around for them, can't get them on because they're wet and rolled up. He starts crying. I actually felt bad because I'm an adult who processes things differently and could see how upset the kid was. Bully or not, he's still just a kid, but it was by far the funniest dose of instant karma I have ever witnessed. Of course, being 12, my son and this kid became friends by the second day, but that's another story.